I cut my business trip in Chicago short and returned home 3 days earlier than planned. When I opened the door to our apartment in Santa Monica, an unfamiliar scent drifted through the air. The smell of bourbon lingered heavily, mixed with a cheap cologne that didn't belong there. This apartment was the first property Emily Watson and I had purchased together after our wedding. The protective film on the floors hadn't even been completely removed yet, and the mattress in the master bedroom was still sealed inside its plastic covering. Emily sat on the couch, her face pale with fear. In her hand, she tightly gripped a dirty whiskey glass. "John Miller? Why are you back already?" she asked nervously. She jumped to her feet as if trying to block something from my view. "The meeting was canceled," I replied calmly, dropping my suitcase beside the entrance. On the floor, I noticed two different sets of footprints. One clearly belonged to Emily's high heels. The other was from a pair of large leather shoes, stained with dried mud. The tracks led straight toward the bedroom. I began walking in that direction. Emily suddenly grabbed my arm. "The bedroom isn't cleaned yet," she said quickly, her voice trembling. "It's a mess." Ignoring her, I pushed the door open. The bed sheets were wrinkled and twisted like crumpled paper. The air was saturated with the strong smell of pomegranate perfume, Emily's obvious attempt to hide the odor of a man's body. On the nightstand rested a Patek Philippe watch. I never wore watches. I picked it up slowly. The metal strap still carried the warmth of someone's skin. "Whose watch is this?" I asked. Emily's complexion instantly turned ghostly white. I bought it for you," she stuttered. "A surprise. A wedding gift." I let out a cold laugh. The strap was clearly adjusted for a man with thick wrists, and the edges showed signs of long use. "Who was here last night?" I asked, staring directly into her eyes. "No one," she replied quickly. "John, you're overthinking things." She snatched the watch from my hand and shoved it into a drawer. Without saying anything else, I walked into the bathroom. Both toothbrushes sitting on the sink were still wet. Inside the trash can were two empty miniature whiskey bottles. At that moment, a loud drilling noise echoed through the hallway from the elevator shaft. My phone vibrated with a message from the building's group chat. Due to an electrical malfunction, all elevators were temporarily out of order until late at night. The emergency stairwell had also been sealed because of a sprinkler system leak. The entire apartment fell into a suffocating silence. I changed my clothes and walked toward the kitchen. "I'm hungry," I said casually. "Let's cook something." Emily suddenly became unusually energetic. She began talking non-stop, clearly trying to distract me. Her hands trembled while cutting vegetables, ruining 3 slices of ham. "There's still some red wine we bought last week in the storage room," I said. "Go grab a bottle." Emily froze. She stood in front of the storage room door, gripping the handle tightly. "We finished it," she said. "Really?" I replied. "I remember there being 2 bottles left." "I drank the last one yesterday." I stepped past her. The storage room door was locked. That was strange. It had never been locked before. "Where's the key?" I asked. I can't find it," she answered, sweat forming on her forehead. "Maybe I left it in our old house." I didn't question her further. Instead, I sat at the dining table drinking coffee while scrolling through something on my phone. Since the apartment wasn't fully prepared yet, I had secretly installed a small hidden camera in the corner of the living room bookshelf. It was meant for security, to keep construction workers from stealing things. I opened the playback. 16 hours earlier, the recording showed Emily entering the apartment with a man, her former boss, David Harris. The moment. They walked through the door, they began kissing, from the entrance to the couch, and then straight to the bedroom. In the footage, David arrogantly stepped across the carpet that was still covered in protective plastic. He laughed while removing his clothes. That idiot John is still on his 3-day business trip, right? David said loudly. He won't suspect a thing. Emily climbed onto his lap. I watched the entire recording from beginning to end, right there on my phone screen, my newlywed wife, inside the apartment where I had paid 70% of the down payment, spent the entire night celebrating with another man. I quietly turned off the video. Emily, I said calmly, bring me a wrench. I think the pipe under the sink is leaking. I'll get it. Just stay there, she said quickly. She hurried nervously toward the tool cabinet near the utility area. Not there, I said. It's in the small toolbox in the storage room. You must have hidden the key. I stood up and walked toward the storage room door. Emily rushed over and grabbed my waist from behind. John, please fix it tomorrow, she pleaded. Let's just go out for dinner tonight. I shook her hand off. Is David Harris in there? I asked coldly. Emily went completely still. She stood frozen like a statue, her pupils shrinking. What are you talking about? She stammered. The Patek Philippe he was wearing is in my pocket, I said. His car is parked on level 3 of the garage. Is he hiding behind my dehumidifier right now, shaking? I lifted my foot and kicked the wooden door. Bang! The lock shattered instantly. Inside the cramped storage room, David Harris was crouched behind several boxes filled with old books. His face was drenched in sweat. 2 buttons on his shirt were misaligned, and he clutched one leather shoe he hadn't managed to put on yet. He awkwardly looked up and forced a weak smile. John, listen, he said. I can explain. It's all a misunderstanding. I didn't bother responding. Instead, I took out my phone and dialed a number. David Harris's wife, Susan Harris, the woman who controlled all of his financial trusts and properties. Susan, I said calmly when she answered. Your husband is currently hiding in my storage room. He's not wearing pants. An icy roar exploded from the phone. I turned and looked at Emily, who had collapsed onto the floor. I'm selling this apartment, I said coldly. Since you two enjoy it so much, you can deal with the rest of the mortgage. I tossed the Patek Philippe watch directly into David's lap. Get out, I told him. Take your trash with you. The elevators still weren't working. Holding his shoes in his hand and walking barefoot, David slowly headed toward the emergency staircase on the 30th floor, like a beaten stray dog under my silent gaze. Emily dropped to her knees, clinging to my legs while crying hysterically. I shoved her away and picked up my suitcase. You'll receive the divorce papers in your email tonight, I said. Don't try calling me. I'll block your number. Then I walked out. As I left the building, I sent a message to my real estate agent. Santa Monica apartment. 20% discount. Cash buyers only. We can sign tonight. That was the 3rd day of my marriage. Clean, efficient.